We are backwards. How did I do that?
I'm the dungeon master.
We're all fucked.
Last time on Almost Heroes, everyone kind of met over at the Matic, the kind of like the town favorite tavern. Met a couple new characters. Met Luthor, a very battered and beaten Warforged, who seemed to have recently come out of a kind of on the worse end of a battle with a monster of some sort. Leg was destroyed. Basically, was drinking at the bar when they found him. Met Madge, who is a orc or a half orc blacksmith in the town. Has a metal arm, extremely like tough individual. You met Rangrim, who's played by Dan, who works with Madge um, at the blacksmithy, kind of doing stuff around there for her. You met Glyn, the high elf, very nicely dressed, sitting at the tavern, who was approached by Cosmo, the kind of very upbeat and friendly paladin dwarf. And kind of after everyone kind of getting together, there was a tolling of the bell from the mines in town. That essentially means that the mines are under attack. Though one bell toll isn't something that's like of a lot of interest to some people, because it doesn't mean it's gotten very far. Luthor tried to go down his and basically deal with the issue. His leg gave out from underneath him, and the three heroes went in his stead to go down there and kind of dealt with the monster. Ended up being a hook whore that was coming out of the depths. Saved a couple people that were kind of fleeing the Underdark into this kind of little refuge camp that's up above. They met Joro down there, who is kind of like the unofficial leader of the refugees down there. And then kind of after defeating the hook whore, they found that there was some sort of marking embedded into the hook whore's leather hide, that they actually took a piece of that hide and brought it with them. On the way out, they ran into Luthor, who approached them about becoming essentially kind of what he calls Luthor's Legends, which is this kind of defunct hero guild that has not operated in lifetimes. And so after talking to Luthor for a little bit, the heroes kind of disbanded for the night and went their own separate ways. Glyn went to stay with Cosmo, and Rangrim went back to the forge called the Iron Woman. And that is where we'll be picking up.
8 hours later.
Yeah, so I kind of want to hear an update from all of you guys on where, what if you did anything in the night, if you just slept through it, but kind of what when you wake up, what are you doing? And we'll just kind of go around. If you want to, we can start with you, Rangrim. What are you doing?
Okay. So, just make sure here. Assuming we long rested, right?
Yes, everyone did go long rest.
I'm no longer bleeding to death.
You
and, like,
very
coughing
much
up
needed
stuff.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So double checking my Roll20 stuff here. So, as far as just sleeping off my wounds and healing,
Mm-hmm.
if I could, I would have finished up after getting demolished by that hook whore. Use my blessing of the forge to grant my chain armor a +1 to AC for the remainder of the day.
Awesome. Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Mostly just lamenting off of after flexing on that hook whore and having it just mutilate me. I'm thinking I need
So
to,
what does that look? What does that look like when you I guess bless your armor? Like how do you go about doing that?
So if he were to bless, so he'd doff his armor, and it would be not incredibly ritualistic. He's not really busting out candles and things of that. It's more of just like a solemn prayer while he focuses on the object to kind of imbue that additional power into it, whether it be an piece of armor or a weapon, to kind of just beef that up. He'd more just kind of just be focusing on it, like half naked at that point, nursing his hook horror wounds.
His
Picture-
horrible wounds.
His hook horrible.
They're abhorrible.
Hook
Abhorrent?
horror.
I picture
Wow.
him like focusing on his forehead the way that Patrick does. Like
Yeah.
staring really hard at his forehead.
Cool. Yeah. So what do you so like your room in the Iron Woman, like what kind of like living quarters do you have in here?
I'd assume that for Rangram, they'd be rather modest. He's not somebody that has very affluent tastes. He's simple pleasures. That he likes forge. He likes coals. He likes steel and iron and metal. So he'd have just a very basic cot somewhere near the forger in the room where he does most of his forging and smithing.
Wait a minute. Where is he?
He's at the Iron Woman,
At the Iron
the
Woman.
forge.
This is at night.
No. This is in the morning.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's where he lives, right?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
lives with Madge
Oh,
at the
that's
Iron
right.
Woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
He's essentially an apprentice that is working there with her.
I'm tracking now.
Apprentice with benefits, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, real simple quarters, maybe a cot. And if it's in disrepair, it turns into a bedroll on the ground. Being a Dwargar is used to being underground, so he's not having very fine comforts is not something he's used to. He's very, very easy to go without.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. So I can definitely picture you having kind of like a bed in the corner of this like main room where the most of the smithing gets done, at least like the hammering and like all the heavy parts of it. And you probably wake up in the morning and you one of the first things you would see would be Madge kind of like working on this like framework for she has Luthor's leg there, like the actual like twisted metal pieces, and she's kind of like done the best she can with it, but you can tell like this doesn't seem to be, it's not like she's be able to repair this piece. It seems like she's more using it as like she's kind of bent it back and is trying to make like some sort of cast or like something else to like potentially like make a new one of it because it's too destroyed to actually repair.
Okay.
And she's just like really into this work as you're waking up.
Okay. So I would wake up, and I'd assume that I probably would have woken up and just immediately gone to mending my armor to give it that little AC bonus before even noticing her and sitting
Yeah,
back
probably
onto
something
my cot.
Madge is probably extremely familiar with you doing this ritualistically in the morning.
Yeah. And I would just kind of lean back into my cot and pull a cigarette out of my beard and light it on the closest piece of hot metal or tinder or ash that floated my way. And I'd look at her and say, "Hey, Madge, any help?"
To be honest, I appreciate the help, Rangrim, but I don't know if I don't even know if you're going to be able to fix this leg. He really has done it this time. All right, we're going to have to get some more mithril. There's no way we're going to be able to fix this thing without it.
That's what he's made out of. He would never tell me.
Well, I mean, the parts of it that we haven't fixed or patched or pasted over, that's what his base construction is, but I mean, the structural integrity of this leg is completely destroyed. He's going to be hobbling around on that peg for a little while until we can do this. Otherwise, he's going to basically have just a big stump. If we put this thing back together, it's not going to bend. So the actual mechanism in the middle of his knee is completely destroyed.
Do they have any more mithril coming out of these mines?
That's a good question. You can go ask the Boulderfist Mining Company. They might have some coming out of there. I know it's been a little bit slow for the past few years or so. We may have to go try to find it from somewhere else. I know that some of the bigger markets, I know Goldbreak is going to have it, but yeah, I don't know. I know it's not something that comes through these markets commonly, but we can ask around. That's what we can do.
Great. We should help Luthor. He's a good man. Gave me a potion of healing. It didn't help, but He tried to help.
I can imagine that potion's probably relatively old. I can't imagine he's needed one in quite a while.
It didn't even taste that good.
It might have just been Hawaiian Punch. Who knows?
Makes sense.
Just really old Hawaiian Punch.
What's up?
Yeah. So with that, I'm gonna pass over to Glenn. What are you doing?
So Glenn, since he's in meditates, right? They don't sleep, so he's up 4 hours early, or I guess earlier than Cosmos would be. Since his bed is so short, his feet were already touching the ground, so he's kind of like Crypt Keeper wakes up, like, go straight into standing.
An elf sleeping in a dwarven bed.
Yeah, so I assume
that
it's
visual is terrible.
he's probably got some back problems, so he starts like a little bit of morning yoga for sure. So what he does at the start of every morning to kind of prepare for the day is he sits down, he like cross-legged, facing the door, so he's not necessarily going to get startled, not going to get jumped. But he communes with his patron, so he speaks out to Chandril, and not verbally, but as one praise, he basically communes with this other being that he's comfortable with, he's close with, and he asks, he says, Chandril, I do you right on this one, or was this another missed opportunity?
Is this something that you would have? Is it a one-way street or is it a two-way street kind of thing?
Kind of up to your discretion, whether or not the patron responds.
I'll say that. I'll say with this one, that's probably like it's just you kind of checking in. It's not really like a super dire need, so maybe it's more of just like like you're sending it out there in the universe, and you just assume they hear. I don't know if it's a she or he or they, but yeah, you assume they hear, but you don't get anything. You don't get anything back. You're not really asking for anything either. So.
Yeah. And then after a moment passes and he just kind of thinks about the events of yesterday, looks over at the photo that he took, kind of like shakes his head and almost a little bit disappointed himself, but like kind of knows what's coming. And then he takes like the next 3 hours. The long item that was on his back that was all wrapped up, he unfolds all the cloth that's over it. And it's just this massive, really ornate double scimitar. So it's got these two giant blades on both sides and this long, like, engraved staff through the middle. And he just like does as many flourishes and like drills as he can remember from his time, with his people. He's just doing as many of these like fanciful, intense moves to really just kind of become more and more comfortable with this item. And he would literally just do that until he heard Cosmos start to wake up, and then would just put it away, wrap up the bondage on it again, put on his leather armor, put the double scimitar back on, put on the big fancy cloak robe thing, the big white and gold one, and just be like waiting by the door to hear Cosmo leave his room, and he would open the door and walk out.
Cool. So you're doing this like at kind of like dawn, even before it was probably the sun was up.
Oh yeah, this would be almost exactly 4 hours after everybody went to bed. Like he would just be as he goes to bed at night, he looks eagerly to do this in the morning. So like he like
Cool.
wakes up right out of bed.
Nice.
Cool. It's like absolutely something he does every single morning without fail.
Yeah, it's how he gets ready every day. Minus the stretching yoga because of the tiny dwarven bed.
Right. He had to add that one into his routine.
Yeah, he's like 5 minutes off from what he normally does.
A little off schedule. Sure, it bothers him.
Awesome. So Cosmo.
Right. So, as Cosmo is kind of stirring, he can hear his mom making breakfast. And
Adorable.
yeah, so she is excited that there is a guest in the house. So she's pulling out all of the stops and making a big dwarven breakfast spread. So,
Does your mom dwarf have a beard?
I think so.
Okay.
This
Like
is like
what?
the age-old question. Do female
Uh,
dwarves have
yeah, I
questions?
mean, yeah, that is the question. I'm just curious. I mean, hey, you can make canon for this world right now. Does your mom have a beard? Does she not have a beard? That's the question on everyone's mind.
No.
Okay.
And only
She shaves it.
because
She shaves it, yeah.
she keeps that on
On point.
right. She sees the salon on the reg. Keep
Oh, she goes to the salon. She's a fancy dwarf. Tin Town doesn't have many things, but it's fucking salons. It's known
I know
for 'em.
I know it's not on the Tin Town map. It's low key, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
They keep it on the DL.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably really just like her like estranged friend who does it out of her like house or something. Um, so no, I have a beard. I think that he would just come out as he was hearing and smelling breakfast being made. He probably like what are our I guess maybe our rooms are across from each other. Maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. So do I like open the door and you like are like ready to like timely come out at the same time?
It's like everything is perfect.
He's just like,
oh, fancy meeting you here.
Yeah.
Oi.
Like, oh, I was waking up and like you're like all like kind of disheveled, and I'm just like crisp and ready to go.
Oi, Elf. You can't be standing there like that. That's weird.
I'm not standing, man. I'm just heading out. I smell some great food. Hey,
Yeah,
Mom?
To be fair, you're probably not standing all the way straight.
He's like
Straight,
hunched over,
short doors.
coming in. Oh, it smells like me mom is making lizard gruel and nut bread. Would you like some?
I'm sure where you're from, that's delicious. Let's go try it.
30 minutes of eating noises later.
How did you feel? Oh, is this delicious, Mum? And I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know how you want to.
No. Let's RP the entire eating scene as BK's character pretends to like what he's eating.
Yeah, he's being very, very polite, but he's like kind of like choking every like third bite. Like when it's like the bits of tail, it's like good, but then, like every once in a while there's just like that bone or the tooth. It's like, oh, thanks, Mom Cosmo.
It's and
so after this lovely and appreciated meal, what are you guys doing?
We should probably check in on Rangrim. I reckon.
I don't know if that guy's gonna be ready to go today, but might as well see if he's up and ready for a couple drinks. Strikes me as a guy who likes to relax.
Make sure he didn't die in the middle of the night.
Basically, make sure he didn't bleed out.
You guys are all having this nice morning breakfast, home cooked meal. I'm possibly dead and on the other side of town.
I don't think I realized after last session you like I didn't realize. I don't know. So
yeah, you and I went back to your place. He just like hobbled home.
I'm not. Yeah,
actually,
I don't even know
where you're located at all on the map.
It's not on there. That's why it was at the Iron Woman.
Yeah, he's at the Iron Woman.
That's 5. I don't. You didn't.
So wherever you want to be, you can just like pick like I'm between this and this or whatever.
I don't.
Just a general region.
We're probably close to the mine because that's just
okay. So like on one of the lower levels then.
I think so. I don't really know. I haven't memorized the map. You made it.
Okay.
Is there
I'm looking at it on our Twitch stream. So
I know you. Is there like a living space somewhere?
No. I mean, you guys would have had a house. I mean, there are just houses around. You can if you want to just be in the lower levels closer to the mine, that's totally fine. I think I can see that being a thing. So yeah, I mean, it's not really important.
Yeah, I didn't know if you decided where there was living quarters, but I'm totally good with it.
Yeah.
So then let's see. What is the is a livery? Like
Be horses, things like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like a stable.
So let's just say, for the sake of story, we are just around the corner from the Iron Woman.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that
About
makes
that.
sense.
Sure.
Hop in a skip.
Rock throw away.
Yeah.
One big elf step.
Yeah, it's just one step on there. I'm like, oh wow, that was insanely convenient.
Awesome.
So we meet up with Rangrim at the Iron Woman because we knew that that's where he was staying, and we weren't concerned about him getting home safe.
Because
It's right
you,
next
you
door.
knew this whole time. He's right across the street.
Right next door.
Right next door.
Yeah, Madge comes out and she's like, "Oh wait, Rangrim died last night." No, no. I would definitely say though, as you guys are coming up, like, yeah. I mean, you could just see the forge is like burning, and there's definitely like heat and smoke coming out of the the actual top of the forge.
So I walk in, or Glenn walks in, just takes a deep breath, goes, I love the smell of a little bit of productivity in the morning, don't you? And I walk towards Madge, like, hey Madge, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, a lot better than Rangrim was last night. What, man, you guys, he, he, I'm glad he made it home. I'm glad he made it home safe. I'm glad to see that all you guys are safe. That seemed like it was quite a tussle.
Yeah, man, he sure knows how to drink. Just one after the other, just kept putting down those flagons.
I think that it must have been much more than the drink that got to Rangrim last night. I've seen him put away a few.
Ah, no, that's his business, none of
Boy,
mine.
it was that axe, or was a bone hook. He stuck him.
Got stuck by a
He
bone
got
hook.
stuck by a bone hook.
Never happened to you, man? All cooped up in the Ford? You've seen a couple of bone hooks in your time, I bet you have.
I don't. Maybe Are you? I don't know what you're.
Another day. We talked to Rangrim. So here's
So
She's just very puzzled by that. Like, is he? I don't know him well enough to know if he's saying something weird.
I am.
Oh no.
Oh, she's giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh jeez. Cosmo's like, is Rangrim in the other room?
Oi, Rangrim.
Oi!
Yeah, your friends are out. Your friends are outside.
I'll go see him.
I don't have any friends. And he just confused and just starts stumbling towards the front of the shop. Oi, Grimace, Katniss.
Rangrim!
It's
Well
Cosmo.
Cosmos.
Right.
I'm sorry.
With just an O.
No.
It's okay. Just Cosmo. It's all right. It's good.
Cosmo.
Cosmo.
Grimace.
Sure.
Close enough, buddy.
He's an elf. I don't care.
Ah.
Is he still shirtless? Like, do we see the giant hole that was there, or you like?
I would have the armor back on, but there's a very particular scent of burnt flesh coming off of him. You get the impression that he may have cauterized some of his own wounds before going to bed.
That's gross.
That sounds like healthy.
It's even grosser when you live with him. Trust me.
Speaking of smells, that lizard gruel
Oh, I
and nut bread.
I left
Did
me.
you get it from the salon
No,
on the
from,
other end?
No, from me mom. You missed it. It was delish. I must have had some left in me beard.
And I'm just gonna go over and sniff his beard and then just grab something out of it. And
It's like a lizard foot.
that wasn't. I don't know what that was, but I don't want to talk about it.
You see Madge in the back just go.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Rangrim, do you mind after you're done smelling that other person? Do you mind just giving Luther just give him the news? He's got to know about his leg. Maybe he can help try to find the materials to get it fixed, but just let him know there's nothing we can do right now.
Absolutely. I think me and these fellas here have business with him either. And I just like smell my hand. I'm like, come on, and I just like wipe my hand on Glenn's like robes.
I just want it to be known that I am not a towel.
What's a towel?
Not
We'll
a
get there.
towel.
We'll get there eventually, buddy. Let's go see Luthor. See if he's hopping along okay. Do we need to take him anything? Do you still have his leg?
Madge is working on a cast for that right now. That's what we got to go speak with him about.
We need to talk to him about getting him a leg.
More or less.
Everyday mind things, right? 10-town special, man. Let's do it.
All right. As you guys are heading over there, what is? Oh my. Okay, nice. You put a little graphic on the stream.
That's yeah.
That's cool. As you guys are walking over there, actually, Glenn, you hear a message or a voice in your head that says, "How will noon work for you today, or do you have a better time you'd like to meet?"
Can I respond to this message?
Yes, you may respond to this message.
Hey there, Jaro. How you doing, bud? Noon works. Where should we meet?
Same place, down in the mines, in the side chamber.
Sounds good. Just keep walking. Says it all very quietly, like practically just murmuring to himself.
Can you say? Oh, I guess you don't. You do have to say it out loud, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think so. I think it's a somatic spell.
Cool. Yeah. Roll a stealth check for me on that. See if you can do it quietly.
That's a natural 19. So like,
I think you do that pretty quietly. Yeah. So you guys don't hear him mutter that. But yeah, you guys are heading over to Luthor's.
Would have been good to know, but that's fine.
Also, what time is it? It's like sunrise.
Yeah, you probably have at least like after your lovely meal and all that and all the conversing, it's probably about 10 o'clock.
A couple hours. All right, cool. Got somewhere to be in a little bit, but why don't we go and see Luthor real quick?
So as you guys are heading over to Luthor's, you see something that's very strange and abnormal. You see the windows on Luthor's house are open, and actually, as you're walking up to it, you see one of the shutters on the windows kind of like being pulled from the inside, it seems like, and just shit tons of dust and crap are falling off them. And then you see them just get like pulled open from the inside, and you kind of see it. You see Luthor's form just kind of pull the window open, and then he sees you all from the inside, and then you hear him kind of grumble, and then he just kind of walks back. He just kind of walks away from the window inside. But that's what you see. But the windows of his place have been opened, which is not something that has happened, and at least since you've known him.
You can do that on one leg.
Well, he has the metal post. He has like essentially a peg leg. He has a peg leg, exactly.
That's awesome.
Sorry, do we see him or do we just see that the windows are open?
He pulled the window open. You saw him for a second, then he went back and he like kind of moved out of the door frame or the window.
Okay. I look over to Rangrim and say, "Hey Rangrim, looks like we made him a little bit happier. Look at, just open up the windows, a little bit of fresh air. Might be good for him.
Some sunshine."
I'm not too sure. That's actually kind of freaking me out a bit. Let's go anyways.
My mom always taught me, if you insult someone directly to their face, it'll make them happy. And just keep walking.
My mother said the same thing, and I go to pat him on the back and kind of almost accidentally like Charlie horse him in the back of the calf, or the thigh rather.
It's just right behind the kneecap.
Just collapses him. Yeah, so the door is shut. So how are you guys approaching the situation?
Way is shut.
The way is shut.
Let the dwarves go in front of me. Pretty much pissed him off last time I was here. I'm not going to try to just be the first face he sees.
I feel like I probably did the same thing.
I would go up first, as I feel like he's
Oi.
more used to dealing with me on occasion.
So you just hammering on the door? Are you pushing it open? What are you doing?
Just a decently solid, just rat tat tat. Oh, Luthor.
Yeah, so you hear you can hear kind of through the windows and then also through the building itself, which is it's mostly a wood building, but it's pretty solidly constructed. But uh, he you hear him kind of thump up to the door and then pull it open and just looks at you all, and so it goes, well, I guess this is my own bed and I gotta lie in it. Why don't you come on in?
All right. I got word from Magic. You remember glycol and comatose? And I just walk right into Luther's.
Yeah, he just kind of holds the door open for you guys if you want to go on in.
I looked at Cosmo. I'm like, he's trying. He's trying. I walk in.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of it's interesting. So you guys were there just the night before, but it is remarkably cleaner than it's not been dusted, but it seems like it's been like someone's taken an active like I guess attempt at cleaning up, the layers and layers of years of filth in this place. In not a super like efficient way or like the best way, but it is definitely a lot like it visually is cleaner and more organized than when you guys were there last night. So it seems like he's been busy while you guys have been sleeping.
Yeah, the Warforged asleep?
They don't sleep.
Huh.
I didn't think so.
Like a great butler. Now, Luthor, looks like you've been pretty busy since we've been away. What's gotten into you?
Well, you know what? I figure that if I'm gonna do this thing, we gotta do it right. So I don't, we gotta make this place look presentable. I don't need much. I don't want for much, but you skin bags need nicer amenities than what I'm used to. So I think it's time for this place to look a little bit more like it did in its heyday. It's got a long way to go, but figure I'd give it a good start.
So previously you had mentioned that there was like this like raised-ish platform towards like the back of it.
Yep.
And is there like a logo or anything like that? Or is there like any insignia up there? Or is it just like a platform?
No, that's actually good that you asked. So originally, just like the outside sign, which still is covered, there was what had been a sign before that said something that had been covered by scrap metal and wood. It has been uncovered and is damaged and doesn't look, needs to be repainted and everything. It's flaked and chipping and everything, but it does say Luther's Legends in kind of this like bold, cracked font on right above the table, and there's like a coat of arms like above that.
So Glenn noticed that as he like kind of is walking in towards Luther, says, Luther, I love what you've done with the place," and like point to the sign. Does he like turn to look at the insignia?
Yeah, he looks back at it and he kind of looks like sheepish a little bit, like well, I guess he can't show any emotion at all because he's a warforged really, but he kind of is like he kind of groans a little bit when he looks at it and it's like,
Does he say it? Emotion. Sheepish.
emotion. I am sheepish.
Reluctance.
Registering sheepishness.
Okay, while he turns, I take the super dusty photo and I return it to the tabletop that I took it from.
Yeah, sleight of hand.
Sneak it super fast. I get advantage because he turned around.
Sure.
Nice. I needed it. 21.
Okay, yeah. You're able to get that back on there without anyone noticing.
So right when I put it down, and as he turns back, I pick it up. I'm like, looks like you forgot a piece. Why don't we dust this off? And I like clean it off with like my very clean robes to show that I am willing to get dirty for Luthor as well.
Ingram looks over at Cosmo and he said, "It's not a towel. Now I don't understand else."
Is it a rag or is it a towel? I don't know.
You guys, right sleeve, left sleeve.
When he sees you with that photo, he is like he like kind of moves towards it, like he's like ready to catch it if it's gonna fall, like, and kind of stumbles a little bit with the leg, but he seems very concerned about the safety of this. Please put that thing down. I don't want anything to happen to it. Just please, just for me, put it down.
Now it's slightly cleaned. What do we see?
Yeah. What you see, as you kind of quickly look at it, is it looks like a group of about 6 people. It is a bunch of varied ages of folk. You're looking at it quickly. If you ever want to in the future take more time and inspect it a little bit more, but you see 6 people of different, varying races and ages and sizes. And kind of over the back of them, um, you see, they all have different adventuring gear on, different weapons. They look like, kind of a band of adventurers. And in kind of the front middle with their arms out over, kind of over these people next to him, you see a kind of like a stout, but like very broad human man. And on his back, you notice a very large, uh, like basically broadsword, like a two-handed greatsword. But he's bearded, like auburn hair, and just yeah, beaming into the camera, or I guess the whatever equates to a camera in this world. I guess a painting. The artist, he's smiling.
Well,
But that's what you see.
There might
I'm
be
curious how
cameras if they have robotic armor.
true.
They probably have cameras.
Sure, I'm
Canon.
gonna say it's like some sort of either magically captured picture or a painting.
It's like
Mage
it's
cam?
it's so
Yeah.
so
Mage cam. Yes.
what I see is like the front that has a lens that looks like a camera and a button, and it grabs it, and then it like etches sketches a picture.
Yes.
Raster.
One of those
Yes,
things
very
that
good.
you used to see where they would like turn people into, like, you know what I mean? Where they, one of the whatever.
But yeah, that's what you see on that on that painting.
All right, as I like go back and set it down, it's like, hey, Luthor, that looks like a happy bunch. I said, what can we came here with a reason though. Rangrim, you mentioned you need to see Luthor. What was that about?
Oh, Luther. Madge sent me over. She's been working on your leg, and I don't know how to put this lightly, but I think your leg's fucked. It's not looking very good. She said we need some mithril to replace at least some of the bits, and she's trying to make casts for them, but I think we're fresh out of mithril.
Fresh out.
But look at you. You're getting along okay with that
Broomstick.
leg.
It's a bloody broomstick.
It's basically a metal pole with a like flat, essentially just like a flat base on it, like a square base that is welded to his, essentially to his, like almost to his knee, because there's no bending in it anymore. So his leg is like almost completely straight.
It's totally immobilized.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's not moving around super well. He's actually using the sword as kind of like a makeshift crutch. But yeah. So that's pretty unfortunate, Rangrim. But I don't unfortunately have any mithril here. I'll have to ask around, see if we could get any. Maybe the Empire might have some of the at the barracks over there. They've been, I've helped them out in the past, but let's not worry about that right now. We can we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I appreciate you coming along to pass the message.
As always.
Some of Glenn's recent trips to the barracks, would he have noticed a stockpile of mithril?
I don't think you've made it super far into the barracks, but that would be something that they probably wouldn't have a stockpile of it. If they did, it's going to be like pretty far in and kind of like where they would keep like gems and pretty valuable materials. So more like a safe situation or like somewhere where they're keeping their, the really rare stuff. But also, this is a relatively small imperial outpost, so it's not like this is where they don't have like captains and commanders and stuff here. It's kind of just like an outpost for general soldiers.
Gotcha. So they would just be like taking stuff from the mine, storing it in the barracks for like whenever the next shipment might have like need to come pick it up.
Yep, sending stuff from the mine, and also just keeping a presence in town because you guys are relatively close to the border, the northern border.
Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yeah, you guys actually hear the sound of what sounds like hammering on the outside of the building, like a kind of like someone using like a small hammer.
Oi, Luthor, is that planned?
To be honest, that's probably the guards right now. And so he kind of stumps over to the door and goes outside. Are you guys following me out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of imagine myself running to the window.
Yeah, actually. So if you go out if you're looking out the window, essentially the window is here and the door is here. So the noise was kind of coming from the center of it. So if you're looking outside, you would see two guards, two Imperial guards that you've probably seen around town. These guys are regulars. There's maybe 4 to 10 guards total ever in the town, and they kind of, as they're stationed or moved or whatever. But there's a couple that are generally stationed here regularly, and you see one of them hammering essentially like a piece of paper to the side of the building. So
Legends?
What's up?
To the side of the Luthor's Legends building or a building?
Yeah, essentially like kind of on the wall. And Luthor goes outside and kind of just look a little bit curtly, but he's like, you can just come on inside, or you could just attach it to the door, slide it underneath. You don't have to put goddamn holes in my wall, man. And the guard kind of like just looks over at him and is like, I understand, Luthor, but you're not always around, and we're just trying to get the message across. We got another job for you, and he kind of like looks at Luthor, and he's like, though you don't seem to be in the right state to be doing anything right now, to be quite honest.
Glenn takes a step back because we know exactly how that goes. Glenn just kind of like steps one step back just in case Luthor takes a swing.
Luthor seems actually pretty. Like I said, he's a warforged. It's kind of hard to tell his emotional state, but he doesn't react to it. But he also doesn't say anything. He just kind of just stares right at him. And the guards kind of just finish hammering and kind of turn and leave. And Luthor goes and pulls it off the wall and looks at it and goes, "Well, boys, I guess you got your second test here." And hands the paper to whoever takes it.
Well, I think I'd be closest to him, unless Glenn is, because I followed suit behind him. So
I'm towards the back.
You're towards the back.
I'm in the window.
So I would just take it and look at it for a while.
What do we got there, Raingrim?
So
what language is it written in?
It's written in Common.
In Common.
You've seen these before. These are like official Imperial, essentially like they're kind of like bounty posters, but they just describe a situation and a location and relatively like a person to contact. And so like, and there's a monetary reward that goes along with it. This doesn't have a stated monetary reward on it, but essentially if you're able to figure these things out and return back to the Empire with proof that you've solved this issue, you will get some sort of financial reward from it. But what this describes is that in a town that you all know, I don't know if you've been there, but it's very close. It's kind of to the northwest, called Whitport. And in Whitport, there is a string of essentially, they're not murders, they're attacks. Some sort of attacks that have left 2 dead in the towns. They've been separated by, yeah, so it would be located at, it's not on the map right now, but it's located at location 35 is where Whitport is.
35. Oh, yes,
Yep.
I see it.
So it's a small town that's right on the edge of the Von Herst Lock. So it's actually
okay.
kind of like a lakeside town. There's a lot of
Sure.
fishing in that town. It's close enough to the north that you're getting it's pretty cold up there. It's not as protected from the elements as you guys are at the Ebon Ridge with the mountains right there and the volcanoes. Yeah, and so it says the contact is going to be Cedric, and yeah, that's kind of what you know from looking at this. So there's been some attacks in Whitport.
And I just expertly relay that to my fellow compatriots, being the well-spoken gentleman I am.
What do you tell us the name of the city and the name of the person is?
Who's got me money?
It was Whiplash, and we're to meet a man named Circus.
I look over to Cosmo. I'm like, Cosmo, I think you and I are going to need to take some time to either put together some sort of translation dictionary for this gentleman, or maybe we just read these bounties ourselves from now on.
I don't know about that there, Rangrim. I don't know
Can't
about...
wait for you.
What?
I can't wait for you guys to go hang out with Andy Circus.
I know of a Whitport. Is that maybe what you meant there, Rangrim?
Yeah, Whitport. That's what I said. Whitport.
That's what he said, I think.
Yeah, it's location 35 on my map right here.
Right there.
I've only been there. I've only heard of it. I've never actually been there. Luthor, you know how long it might take us to get there?
Whitport? Yeah, you're looking at about easy day and a half to get there.
Can we get there in say 5 foot?
Yeah, a day and a half on foot. If you were to get horses, you might be able to get there in a day, maybe a little bit underneath that.
What about a cart? Like a wagon? Maybe we could procure
war
some wares from it.
machine. We need a war machine.
Well,
he was selling some sort of boiled meat. That he was carrying around on the cart, and he had that horse in front. You might be able to buy that from him and just take that.
I did see. Are you talking about the hot dog cart? I did see him. He's been traveling around, trying to slang that meat from time to time. But you might be able to approach him. I mean, that is that man's livelihood. He might. You never know. I don't know what he's gonna do with all that meat.
Maybe we could borrow it, or just
for a short trip.
Yes, it's just a short trip to 35.
As long as by borrow it, you don't mean kill him and take his cart, then yeah, I'm sure you can borrow it.
Luther.
What are we? Do I look homeless?
So you told us we have these tests. Well, what's the incentive for said tests? What do we get out of it for passing said tests?
Right.
Well,
Rangrim, what do they pay?
There's no reward on this one.
Ooh, it's a blank
I've seen
check.
these type of imperial writs before, but this one doesn't say.
Maybe
we
it's
got to go
check.
meet Cedar over in
just give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
He just hands it to him.
Give it to me. What is this? What does this say? I don't remember.
There wasn't any monetary anything written on it. We were supposed to meet. The point of contact was Cedric in
Cedric?
Whitport, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Cedric in
and
Whitport.
where-
See, Glenn? He like
And
reads it.
where the monetary reward thing is, like the reward area, it just says to contact the Imperial Guards
Maybe-
when complete
Maybe it's a
No,
blank
no,
with
check.
information.
I'm not necessarily worried about what the Imperial's going to pay. I know I've done their contracts. I know how that works. I want to know what Luthor's got for us. Got this nice hall here, but seems rather run down, and seems like you're in need of some people representing. So what's that mean for us?
Well, I don't, I mean, what do you want? Are you looking for gold? To be honest, I've been turning down. I haven't taken a reward for any of the bounties I've done for the last, well, been years now. I haven't had any need for it. I don't have my costs of living are low. Let's just say, but I'm sure I can find some way to reward you if that is something that you desire.
Let's
Well-
call it a TBD, shall we?
Right, well, Glenn, it's part of the greater good of Sakal that we fight. We protect. That's what
Well,
we
you for sure are gonna get a reward from those Imperials over there. So, I mean, you have that coming at the very least. Just be careful though, because you know what they may not be because they dropped the writ off here. They may not be expecting to give you a reward. So you might need to remind them that that is part of doing work.
Right, well, maybe we just stop by the barracks and on our way out and figure it out.
And gently remind them.
Gently remind them they forgot to fill in a spot.
Indeed.
Damn good idea, Cosmo. How long has this interaction been? How close to noon am I?
Got about 30 minutes, I would say. You're getting pretty close.
I tell him, hey guys, why don't we circle back later? I'm gonna go meet up with my friend, that a dark elf fellow that you guys saw earlier. You're welcome to join, or I'm happy to buy you guys a drink over at the bar and see you in a little bit.
Maybe we just why don't we just meet you at the barracks?
Perfect. I'll
I
see you
have
there.
to check in with Magic best.
All right, you go see if Mom will let you go. You go see if Dad will let you go. I'm gonna go handle a quick business.
Mom
Meet at the
doesn't tell me what to do. I'm a
barracks and out.
I'm a paladin, right?
That lives in his mom's house. Am I right?
I picture that Cosmo is 12 years old.
I- he's a young paladin, but you
Okay.
know, it's fine.
He's just so stoked on everything. I love it. He brings a
But-
nice positivity.
When Rangram cracks that joke, Glenn finally gets the opportunity to go, hey, and he goes to high five him, but it's just like way above him, just misses. It's just like super ungraceful.
Dude, you gotta watch the elbows. You gotta watch the elbows.
Sleeves, man, it's the sleeves.
You are not practicing good social distancing.
It's true. Well, luckily, COVID hasn't hit Sakal yet, so I think we're okay. We got at least a couple more months. Yeah. So let's follow you first, Glenn, and then we'll go. We'll kind of catch up with everyone else.
Let's go.
Cool.
As I'm making my way towards, well, it's like after the first gate, right? I'm doing like some minor incantations, and I just summon my my familiar.
First gate.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay. So I want to address this because I fucked the gates up last time because they didn't make any goddamn sense with the way that I had described them. Yeah. So they're actually there should be backwards from what I said. So the first gate that you come to is gate 3. That's the closest one into the mine. Gate 2 is the middle one, and gate 1 is the furthest one, the one that you guys fought the hook whore out last time. And so it's one bell basically. It correlates to the gates. So gate 1 is 1 bell, gate 2 is 2 bells, gate 3 is 3 bells. So that's
Gate 3 is the farthest.
Gate 3 is the closest one to the town. That would be the last bastion of the gates.
Is gate 3.
Yes.
So 3 bells toll. Shit's going bad.
I
Yes.
feel like That's what you said. But
No, I said it backwards last time.
all right.
My notes
All right.
literally says, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, yeah, I fucked it up. Anyway, okay, so you're able to get through. How do you get past gate 2? Gate 2 is going to be the harder one for you to get through. You don't have really any clout in the mine, and it's the one that they don't really let people through very easily.
I'm white and gold. I'm dripping in clout.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good point. It's strong counter argument. While I'm okay, I'm gonna do two things.
Cool.
Well, I'm just gonna bring my familiar back. He's the. I was gonna change your shape. I want to. No, fuck it. So I'm gonna bring my familiar back as a rat this time, or like a dormouse, something really small. He just kind of posts up on my shoulder, and while I'm walking towards the gate, I'm going to shift myself into. I'm going to cast Disguise Self, and turn myself into one of the guards that I saw previously that I haven't seen today. Just like one of the random ones that
Cool.
Just a general face. So I switch into him and I approach the gate. And is it only a massive door, or are they like people sized doors?
It's a portcullis. It's a gate that raises.
That's the only gate that's the only entrance, because you said there's like also over, right?
You can go over. Yeah, you can go over. There's like the ladders are essentially pulled up from. There's no way like to get there. You know what? Actually, that wouldn't make much sense. There's probably smaller doors that go to doorways or like ladders up to the top areas that are also shut as well. Like basically minor doors that would go to a staircase within the wall that would take you to the top level.
Okay. Okay. I should have fucking planned for this. I walk up to the door and I just knock on the door really hard. Just pound on it.
Oi!
And change my voice into what I thought this guy's voice, closest thing to his voice would be. Say, hey, let me in.
Who are you?
Don't worry about that. Commander said to let me through. Let me go.
Oh, thank fuck. I bet it's time for me to go get a drink. And he kind of just opens the door and goes walking past you. It's this like stout dwarven figure, and he just kind of like walks past you and slaps you on the kind of on the lower back, and then just walks past you without looking at you at all.
Fucking security, man. Okay. I just walk. It's like, yeah, have an extra one on me, man. And I just like keep walking through, and I close the door behind me.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can essentially. Are you trying to? Yeah. You've made it past the gate. You can essentially exit out the other side. And yeah. So as you're walking through, you're going through like the encampment, like the refugee encampment, essentially, that now houses, the 3 newcomers that came in the night before. Are you stopping in there at all, or are you just going straight through?
I'm walking through the encampment, kind of like keeping an eye, keeping my disguise up too, seeing if there's any of like the guards at all, or if I notice any like undue attention either towards a guard or just like towards each other. Like,
you're keeping the.
Yeah, I'm still in guard
okay.
form.
Yeah, they keep their distance from you for sure. I assume that this isn't something, unless you tell me otherwise. This isn't something where they would recognize you as the guard or anything like that. No, okay, so they just this is it's normal for for members of the the Boulderfist Mining Company to walk deeper into the mine. Obviously, there's miners walking back and forth all the time. So essentially, like you walk past, and maybe about 60 to 100 feet down in the mine, you're able to you see this kind of like craggy kind of crack in the left hand side of the rock face, and you're able to kind of slip off into this little side passage that maybe was like it maybe was a fissure of some sort that they deemed didn't have any worthy, valuable materials in it, or was not safe to expand anymore. But that has become kind of like your impromptu meeting place with Joro, and that's where he kind of meets with people that he wants to keep out of prying ears and prying eyes of other people. It goes in maybe like 40, 50 feet and kind of worms around and then opens up into this kind of like area that's it's just kind of like a naturally hollowed out uh, little space that's essentially 15 to 20 feet in diameter.
Okay, when I approach the fissure, I would immediately start like sneaking best I can. I would be as
Cool.
as hidden as possible. Which for the sake of stealth, I rolled a 25. And wait, is that right?
Go
What's my
off.
stealth? What's my stealth? I rolled a 27. So I'm gonna be like kind of sneaking, creeping up, and I know that this is like generally like a safe, like not really a threatening space. But do I see Joro when I get to the clearing?
Yeah, so when you get in there, you see him sitting very relaxed, just kind of leaning against the wall. There's no like furniture or anything in here, and I mean, you guys both have dark vision, so you're just relying on that. There's no lights of any sort. He's a drow, so it's no reason for it.
Okay, so I would try to sneak as close to like him as even if it's like a perfect circle and he's like on the far side. I would like try to sneak as close as possible to him as without like alerting him. And then once I get really close, to be like, "Hey, Joro," and just try to scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, so I will say you definitely scare him, but he kind of tries to play it off a little bit, like you didn't. Like you definitely alert him, but he only flinches for a minute. He's well,
Do you forget that it's a guard that did it, not me?
oh yeah, that's right. You're in the guard form. Okay, hold on one second. Are you okay? So you're essentially scaring this guy as a guard. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Does a 15 hit? Does a
No. No.
Okay. He essentially grabs a dagger out and brings it up at you, and you're able to kind of dip your head out of the way as this dagger like whips past the side of your face.
I like lean back really fast and I drop this guy's cell. I'm like, "Hey, oh, friendly fire! Come on, bud. You told me to meet you here.
You're gonna get yourself killed pulling things like that.
Wouldn't be me if it wasn't a little extra challenging, right?"
I do appreciate it. Well, I'm glad you met me down here. I thought you were gonna bring your friends with you.
2 for flinching.
Dodging and flinching are different. Yeah, they had some other pressing issues. Figured I could represent the group. Don't know if I necessarily need them to know how much of our daily are intertwined. So I do for you.
Sometimes friends are assets, and sometimes they're liabilities. I guess it's your call to decide which kind of people they are. Well, I guess we don't need them here. We can you can pass this message along if you choose to. Essentially, we need more supplies, better supplies. It's the same racket. We need stuff, and the Empire's not willing to give it, and we can't buy it. So we need your help acquiring some items for us.
You got a list for me this time, or is it just whatever I can get my hands on?
I do. And so he has a list, a general list of like food, supplies, just general like things you would find in like some sort of they're honestly just like relatively general means for survival, rope, whatever else. But what is on it this time that wasn't on it last time is essentially itemized weapons that are carried regularly by the Empire. So swords, crossbows, axes, spears, things of that nature, as well as like some itemized, basically like black powder explosives that are carried by the Empire. Now, I'm not going to pretend that these things are in any way, shape, or form easy to get. You will essentially be stealing from the Empire by taking these, and you can't essentially carry a handful of spears down the hallway without them noticing. We might have to get kind of inventive with how you're able to get these here, but if you are able to get them down here, we have amassed quite a reward for you, and this could change some lives.
Looks like you're mounting up to maybe go to war? Are you looking to fight some more of those big beasts? Or are you looking to maybe move up a little bit in the gates?
I won't I won't lie to you that the other day did scare us quite a bit. Some of the less able were definitely afraid of their livelihood, and not being able to defend themselves like that. So defending ourselves is number one, but at the same time, this isn't right down here. You know that we should be up to the surface.
It's
And
survival of the fittest, my friend. I will do everything I can to help you, but there's always a price. What's this reward you have for it? Is this tiered by any chance?
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Some spears, some swords. This first round, come back with some black powder. The second round,
uh, whatever you can get us, you know that we're always happy to pay you for whatever you can provide.
I'll maybe play this one a little close to my chest, see if get a feel. The young one of the group, he's pretty gung ho about saving the world, so might take a little changing of his mind before he's gonna be willing to steal some stuff.
That's the one that works for the Boulder Fist Mining Company, isn't it?
He's got some affiliations down here. Never really sure what people are after.
That will be a hard sell if you're uh, essentially arming the rebellion against the place he works.
I mean, we haven't necessarily talked about rebellion, so maybe don't use that word so much. But we'll see how this goes. I'll let you know. Can't really send any messages your way, but I need to communicate. Just check in every once in a while.
Will do.
I guess that's all you got for me, Jor. I'm see some friends about a hot dog cart.
Yeah, he just kind of smirks at you and just kind of waves.
Yeah, as I walk out, if I cast this guy's self again, turn into that same human guard that I was previously. And
Cool.
I follow my way back. As I'm coming through the gate, because it's a little gates from kind of like up and then back down. Is there like anything of value through the portcullis structures? Anything like? Are there any weapons? Are there anything along those lines?
Yeah, so I'll say that there's like a little table down at the bottom. Let me see real quick.
Good thing you're
Yeah.
a rogue.
There's sticking out of the table. Looks like they were having some sort of card game or something. There is a kind of like a shitty dagger and essentially like a bag of what looks like coins.
And there's no one there, right? Because you just let me
No,
off.
it's in the lower. Yeah, it's in the lower section, so you're able to get through there without a problem, and pass through the gate.
All right, I'm gonna pocket the coins, and I'm gonna carve into the table the dagger LL, and then stab the knife in and walk out.
Nice. Yeah. So you find there's 5 gold coins and 2 silver.
Sweet. And I head over to the barracks to meet up with my friends. Oh, I dropped my disguise like in an alleyway before I get close to them.
Cool. Yes. So who is going over to the barracks?
I think
know Rangram is checking in with Madge.
Yeah, I was gonna check in with Madge.
I think Cosmo was.
Okay. Cool. So what do you the barracks is essentially just like it's one of the few like stone and very well fortified structures in the town. But it's essentially just like a stone keep, a small like stone building that is just flanked by a couple guards, and there's some guards sitting out front in like a table and just kind of keeping an eye on everything.
Right. So I guess I'm just walking up and approaching the barracks, and I would reach out and say to one of the guards I'm holding a flyer, right? And who would I see about the the bounty on this?
I can help you with that one. Let me take a look at it real quick. It's so this is like a kind of like a middle-aged guard, just a maybe human, and he just kind of takes it from you. You've seen him around before. He's just one of the generally stationed ones here.
Right.
Um, well, it looks like you got some. Look over in Whipport. We're gonna be there's some sort of attacks going on over there. We got the report in last night. But yeah, they're just looking for someone to go over there and take a look at it and potentially find out what's going on. Their local law enforcement is kind of puzzled by this whole thing. They were fine after the first one, but that second one, it was a kid, and they're just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. They don't have any leads right now.
Well, that's no good, especially when there's a kid involved.
Well,
And
there's from what I hear, there's bits of a kid involved now. At this point, the attack was pretty brutal.
oh, that's no good. I hope they weren't throwing them pots around. But right. Any no ideas as to what it might be?
No, I'm. Are you asking me? I have
Well,
been stationed.
well, you might be hearing down the trail of sorts as to what they think it might be. Rumors on the underground. I'm just
I
looking
mean, they
to
don't think it's they don't think it's a person. It doesn't seem to be done by any kind of blade, from what I hear. But it could. It's a very brutal attack. We don't. They don't really know what's doing it. You're gonna have to. Looks like he looks down at the paper. He's like, looks like there's a contact, Cedric.
right.
I don't
Who's
know if he's local.
where's he at?
I actually don't know. This contact was provided by the local law enforcement. It looks like.
Right, but
But
it says there to see you about how much you're gonna pay me.
oh yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, we can. Oh no, dice on the floor. Oh god. No, yeah. So he's kind of looking down and he's like, 1 second. Let me check on that. And so he goes inside. Rangram, are you coming over? Are you showing up too? To this place? Or are you going to talk to? You have like a conversation you want to have with Madge. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I am. It would more have just been a brief thing, informing her of the goings on in the bit of with Luther's legend. But I'd assume that her being the only other person that's really like in the know that Luther
Okay.
speaks to, that she'd be generally aware. It was more of that's where Rangram would go to inform her that he'd be going off to take a job somewhere.
Okay.
And as
Cool.
long as she doesn't object, I'm going to the barracks.
Cool. Yes, I think that's I don't think she would have a problem with that at all. She's just going about her daily business with providing things and making things for the forge to sell. And I assume you guys have some sort of uh provide things to the markets on both the rim and the bowl markets for buying and selling. So she's just going about the day to day business. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, by the time the two of you guys actually get over there and get back and kind of coalesce together, the guards coming back outside and well, it looks like we can do maybe 200 gold, 300 gold for this one. It's all going to depend on what you find, though. If you're able to find a killer or the beast and bring the head of the creature, we could even do more than that. But
Right.
if that's 200 gold is about the minimum if you just come back with information about what this thing is and what's going on, or if you're able to provide law enforcement with that. But if you're able to actually really do this thing right, we could do upwards of 500 gold. So
Right.
just see what you guys can do.
Right. Well, we just intend to clean up shop, but I wanted to make sure we was going to be paid kindly for it. Because if it's not a human, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go fight another dwarf or another elf, and I'm gonna be risking me neck and me beard.
Looks like that's about one and the same.
That's right.
Uh, so yeah, he just kind of goes. He just kind of hands you back the paper and goes back to his card game.
Great.
What are y'all
What's-
doing?
And are they all around?
Yeah, you guys have. I assume you guys have kind of caught up and
Okay.
collected.
Yeah.
At this
So
point.
I tell the guys what he told me and what the amount is that they're gonna pay us, and he says, "Do you think it's worth it?"
I mean, that much cash. Imagine how clean shaved your mom's beard will be for the next who knows how long.
Wax for weeks.
Why you gotta
His
bring
mom
me
has a
mom?
beard.
Why are you
His
bringing me mom
has
in
like
here?
she's got a beard.
No, she
She's
don't.
She was taking care of me. I just want to make sure I pay due where respect was had. So I'm just gonna try to help out. But it sounds like you're off to this quest of valor and honors. So if you want to give up that 200 gold to maybe Rangrim and I totally understand. We'll sing your praises. We'll say great things about you.
I gotta pay. I gotta help me mom. I'm taking off work, and but I just wanted to make sure it was worth your time. If money is really what matters to you all.
I'm the money doesn't matter much to me, but why are we doing this for your mum's beard? Again.
I didn't make it about me mom's beard. He did.
And as I say that, I start walking towards wherever I think the exit of Tin Town is, and I just go for Cosmo's mom. Go walking.
It's amazing.
For Cosmos, for me mom.
Yeah. So what? Essentially, I'm curious to know now what your plans are like before heading out. Like for preparation, shopping, anything like that you guys want to do?
Absolutely. So I would like to go to. Shit, I just had that. What is the name of the little shop that is not the Bits and Bobs?
Okay.
Well, while you all just go around and shop, I'm gonna stop by me house and get some supplies. Anybody need anything?
You can get me some of that lizard gruel. That would be wonderful.
We'll get us a knapsack to go. It'll be delightful.
Look
Yes.
over.
Hold your mum's beard.
Cosmo
face.
walks away. I look to Ranger. I'm like, he's totally gonna go ask for permission, man. He's gonna see if his mom will let him go. And then
She won't let him go.
Can can I can I roll a dice?
oh no!
You certainly can.
To hear it or to kill me?
Are you rolling a persuasion check to ask your mom's permission?
Nope. I'm rolling an athletics for Glenn to just feel a rock hit him.
Are you throwing a rock at him?
I'm throwing a rock at Glenn.
That's an attack.
So I think that would be I think that'd be an unarmed or a ranged attack actually.
That's fair. I still rolled the dice. It's 20. It's 23.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
Yeah. How big of a rock and what are you doing?
What is your dexterity modifier?
Well, my dex mod is +1, but my ranged attack must be off of
Savagery. Nah, I'm fine. Just want you know that for combat in the future when we're fighting someone that's not me.
Right. Well, I mean, all I got to do is hit it hard enough, right? All I'm just throwing. It's like an average, I mean, it's not like a boulder. It's just like,
Yeah.
and I just throw it, and you just hear "Shut up about me, mom."
Just taking this out of the head. I'm like, that's fair. I earned that one.
How much damage is it?
I
go
don't know.
to Bits and Bob.
How
Okay,
much does a rock do?
For brevity's sake, since it's just the general store, what are you looking to buy? Are you wanting to have a full interaction?
Yeah.
I rolled a 1, by the way, for the damage. So you took 1 damage from the rock.
That sounds fair. That seems fair. It was more for RP than damage, but I appreciate it.
I want to buy some type of like health potion if he's got them. Don't know how
Okay.
much that's going to cost just to get pricing on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe a regular health potion is 50 gold. Do you have 50 gold?
No, so I guess I want to RP maybe lifting. Are health potions just out, or are they behind?
Yeah. Roll me. I just because we're getting pretty close to the end here, and I have a point I want to end at. I want to. Let's just roll me a sleight of hand, a stealth and a sleight of hand to see if you get it. Stealth to get in there, and then a sleight of hand to yoink it.
The stealth was 23.
It's pretty good. I think
Sleight
that
of
you.
hand. I don't like that I use my good roll for the stealth. Ooh, 14.
Okay, because of the really good stealth check, I'll say that you're able to actually get in there without him even knowing. It's like it's just kind of like an older gentleman with an apron on. He's kind of sweeping, and you can hear him whistling kind of in the back of the shop. And you're able to get in there and actually, without the door going off and tinkling, you're able to get in and kind of reach your hand underneath the front counter and grab a health potion and get out of there.
Sweet. And then I would also, because I don't think Ray and Graham or Cosmo were going to do this, but check the livery just to see what renting a horse would cost. I imagine not cheap, but to rent 3 horses for, say, a week's time.
1 sec. It's a good question.
I'm
I
full
don't
of
know if this is something that I'm sure the internet has this. Please hold.
horse rentals.
Well, as we dwarves is natural sprinters.
Very
So-
lethal over a short distance.
So it looks like it's about a gold a day to rent the horse.
Okay, so for myself, I'm going to rent 1 horse for a week, and then for the both of them, I'm going to rent 1 horse for a week.
Are you guys? Do you guys ride horses? Do dwarves ride horses?
I don't think that's on my skill list.
Apparently very sensually.
very ghost.
I mean, how about this? How about I'll say for you guys can rent 1 horse and a cart for how much? I guess let's just do 5 gold. If you're trying to rent it for a week.
All right, perfect. I will rent that. Let me subtract 5 gold.
I forget where to see in my currencies.
It's gonna be a pretty small cart. It's not gonna be like a full sized cart. It's gonna be like a pretty narrow one that maybe 2 people could sit in, like 1 and 1 with just like some benches in it.
That seems
A
adequate.
general cart for hauling shit in.
Let's
Works for me. Yeah, I'm ready. I don't know if you guys need to do anything.
When I had left Mages, I would have just grabbed 20 pythons from the rest of the whatever we had there to sell, or I would purchase from her.
What's what is
Think
it?
like a railroad spike.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's big ass.
I should know that. They use them for climbing.
Let's grab.
You knew?
So
Well, I mean, I haven't-
purchase 20 of those.
It's been about a month or 2 since I've been able to climb, so it's getting there. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I would just say that. I mean, you probably forged them yourself, and I don't think Madge is gonna charge you for the raw materials. So, and if anything,
They're
she's
cheap
happy.
enough that even just on my leave, I would have given her the 1 gold for the 20 of them.
Yeah, I'm sure
That's just going off the PHB price. So
cool.
Right.
How about you, Bangrang? What are you doing?
So Cosmo comes back with just I don't know what you would call it, just a pack of supplies.
An adventurer's pack?
An adventurer's pack. He's like, I got the essentials, of course. Got some. I got some mead, and my mom packed me some lunches.
This is 110% a Jan sport, right?
This is 100% a Jan sport,
It has little Cosmo just inscribed on the back of it,
right?
like a
It's
needle
got a-
point.
It's got a fucking digipet hanging off of it.
Right, of course. Priorities, and
Love it.
it's good. It's great.
That's fucking adorable. Yeah. So you guys get all loaded up into your cart. Who's driving the cart? I guess
I don't have that skill.
And
you don't have
also,
vehicle proficiency.
I have no vehicle proficiencies either.
Who wants to roll an animal handling? I guess.
I've ridden horses, but
Wait a minute. It's
I'll
animal
do
handling.
an animal handling.
Yeah, I got a fat 0.
yeah,
On that one.
When we start the trip, Glenn just kind of sits Indian style in the car and looks and
18.
goes, "Hey,
Oh,
everybody."
that's not bad. I rolled an 18 and I got a +4.
Nice.
23.
Yeah.
For animal handling?
Yeah, wisdom, clerics. Very wise. Not too bright, but wise.
I was like,
Glenn-
I was more
Glenn's elven
charismatic.
meditating for the first 4 hours of this trip. He's taking a long rest, so he basically sits down and just AFKs.
Well, welcome,
Nice.
Grim Greycastle. We're glad to have you here. Hanging.
Welcome. Yeah. So, Rangram, you're able to kind of get a handle on this horse, which by the way, it's kind of like a white dappled horse. Like it's not, it's kind of thin and a little bit rugged, but it seems like it's got a lot of life still left in it. So yeah, you guys are able to kind of head out of town, out past the upper market and kind of start heading out, through the pathways that lead through the forests, and eventually you're kind of traversing along, and you can see like the Von Hurst Lock in the distance. Um, and yeah, it kind of it starts. You don't really. It's kind of uneventful. You pass some people on the road. You pass some soldiers. You pass some just general people traveling between these two towns, because travel like on these paths is pretty common. It's not like these are back roads or anything. These are main like market pathways. So you're passing other people going to sell goods and services in each town. And yeah, so it gets to the point where it's getting dark, and you're probably gonna want to make camp for the night relatively soon, or just try to barrel all the way through and get to Whitport. It's kind of your decision, but you won't have a long rest at that point, of course.
Rangrim,
You'll actually
can you
you'll
drive
actually
at night?
be
But I'll let
think-
the DM finish. Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say you'll have a point of fatigue, I believe, if you ride through the night, which is I'll have to look into it, but I know that it gives you negatives to a lot of rolls.
That doesn't sound very positive. I'm not opposed to pitching camp, but Rangrim, you're been silenced. But
I sure have. I was double checking on exhaustion. Level 1 is disadvantage on ability checks. I'm sorry, disadvantage on ability checks. Metagame whisper.
you guys switched places again.
All right, tell us the rest of the story, BK.
Zoom dropped me.
Yeah, so you guys are where you guys are at right now. You're kind of traveling through some light forested areas. The pathway itself is relatively open. You're essentially kind of the pathway is on one side of you. You have kind of like light forests, and then past that is the quiet lands, which is open plains, and there's not a lot there. And then kind of more towards the Von Hurst Lock, you're going to be getting more actual like forests. So you can kind of like, if you wanted to pull off the road, you could find like a small clearing in the trees that
Come
is
here then.
kind of secluded.
I think it's one of those for us to take a quick camp.
Cool. Yeah,
Break through the
so
knot, give the horses a rest.
How long after we left was this?
I would say so it was new. Well, I would say maybe like 1 o'clock by the time you guys actually left town. And so like it's probably around, I would say maybe like 11 p.m. right now, something like that, 10, 11 p.m.
So if I mean, I would technically be done with my long rest as an elf, right? Because it only takes 4 hours to meditate. So yeah, if we set up camp just so the dwarves don't get sleepy guys, I can take a first watch. But yeah, I was thinking we should do a little forest or a little plain. I think usually a little bit more comfortable with the forest, a little more cover that side. I don't know, Cosmo, have you ever left home?
I'm offended, of course. At least once. I may be a young dwarf, but I know how to change me underwear.
Didn't know if you've done Dwarf Scouts yet.
He's done it at least twice.
I spent plenty of days down in the mines, and we used to sleep down there on the rig, and I know how to build me a shelter. So I say we sleep on the forest side.
You heard the man, Rankin. Let's set up. And I just start setting up a really, really simple. I take off like the robe, and I basically just turn it into a pillow.
Yeah, so you guys are able to find a kind of, there's a little like a little seldom used pathway kind of off the road and leads to this little clearing. You're not super far off the road, like maybe I mean, unless you want to be farther off, I would say maybe between 30 to 60 feet off in this little clearing, just in the trees. And the clearing
Seems
itself
fine.
is probably no bigger than 15 feet, 15 to 20 feet in diameter.
I'm good with it.
It's definitely like a rudimentary campsite. You can see that there was an old fire pit in the middle. Are you guys? What is your guys' campsite like setup look like for the night?
I think. I mean, there's a wagon. I mean, I feel like I would probably want to sleep in the wagon.
Okay, yeah. There's at least room for one person to sleep in the wagon. And then I assume Glenn doesn't need to sleep. So
Glenn would go up into one of the trees.
Cool.
And just kind of like just meditate and just kind of relax there. Kind of keep an eye on everything, but just be really calm. And you would also send Poe on the other side of the clearing to be watching that side, and we'd be kind of in mental communication with each other. And that would be kind of like a 2-point radius. Keep an eye on everybody.
Rangram, what are you doing?
Rangram would be making his bed just under the cart.
Always got to be under something, don't you?
Yeah, like a rock. And he just kind of... And he's out pretty quick. He's used to sleeping in seemingly uncomfortable places. So when he makes camp and he's going to bed, if it's not his watch, lights out.
Oi, Rengrim. Rengrim, make sure the horse is good. I don't know anything about this animal handling.
I just look at him like, that's good.
Right, just wanted to be sure.
Are you guys getting the fire going, or are you just sleeping in the dark?
I'm fine with the dark.
Oh, we dark vision squatted up right now. That's
yeah.
good.
I was gonna say I think everyone has dark vision, so totally cool. Totally cool. Yeah. So yeah, you guys go off to sleep, and then I just need a perception check with advantage from Glenn for the first watch.
Mage hand. I saw that.
Perception check with advantage.
Because he has his
he's helping.
Yeah.
Right.
20. Not
20?
a nat 20, but a 20 total.
Okay. So yeah, so that's for the first watch. I'll need one more from you with advantage. And this is getting pretty like early morning now, really like middle of the night.
19.
Okay. Yeah. So with that, you get you see it, and this is where we'll wrap up. But you can hear and you can see what seems like a couple figures moving through the trees towards your camp from the road. And that's where we will wrap up tonight.
Damn it.
Spooky.
That question.